Hey everybody, this is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Today we're coming with a Freedom Saturday of sorts. I have a host with me. We'll be talking about what to do before and after Hurricane Harvey with Andre C. Hatchett. Andre, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hello, audience. I am Erica's proud and honored co-host. My name is Andre C. Hatchett. I am what you might call a tech entrepreneur nowadays and a hardcore Black advancement actionist, all mixed up in one. And hardcore real estate, hardcore entrepreneurship, hardcore Black people.
So if you guys don't know Dre, I've brought him on the show several times. He is big on starting where you are. He bought a home when he was young, 22. He also has invested in several companies. His notary business has been going on for 11 years now. If I'm not mistaken, Dre? 11
It's gonna be
or 10?
12, but yeah, it'll be 12 really soon. Yeah, wow. 12.
So this is a guy who knows what he's talking about. I bring on people who not only do it, but they live it, so that you know that we're not unicorns. We are not unicorns. We are everyday average people, and there are plenty of other people just like us out there. So some of the things we're going to talk about today, we're going to hit 5 topics, but the first one is, and we can let this tie in however you want to see it, but inheritance. I've heard a lot of conversation of inheritance lately, and inheritance is why some people are where they are, and what's some things people can do about that, Dre? What can they do about inheritance in America?
Well, one thing you could do is to realize that you should be leaving inheritance for your people. Some of us have a notion that, well, they didn't work for it, they don't deserve it. That's false. That shouldn't be the notion. So the first thing is to get in the mind state that you should be leaving an inheritance for your kids if you have them, nieces if you have them, nephews if you have them, or mentees if you have them, which everybody should have a mentee as well. So you should be leaving something for someone or an organization that when you move on to a better place, they have something financially that they can build off of and expand off of.
And on one hand, I talk about inheritance as simple as $14 a month life insurance policies that'll give you $250,000. On another hand, I'm even saying as simply as I've seen families, mom and dad have this really nice furniture set. They buy another furniture set every 3 years. They give that furniture set to some of their kids. Now, some people are like, well, Erica, that's not inheritance. But again, it is. It saved you what, $700 to $2,000 on furniture sets? Dining room sets, clothes.
Yes.
There's a reason thrift shops are so thriving in America, because people don't work with each other as much anymore. People don't just donate clothes. And it used to be a time where, if you had, the average family had like 5 kids, you guys all lived close, you had babysitters, you saved money, you also donate each other, just items you needed. So those are also forms of type of inheritance, not to shortchange money, but like, many people start off with a brand new car instead of just a car they got when they were younger that was maybe a $2,000 Honda. Those are forms of inheritance.
Very true.
That I don't want people to overlook, because they're like, I didn't start with anything. Or if you go, well, didn't you have 3 cars in your yard and one of them you gave to your 16-year-old son? Then you gave him an inheritance. You gave him a piece of it, okay? So number 2, and I'll let Dre give a story here, but I was talking about a lot of people during the insurance, people don't really realize in Texas, to move into many of the apartment systems here, almost 95% of all the apartments in Texas, you have 2 choices. You have insurance, apartment insurance, or a surety bond. A surety bond essentially is more geared toward the actual apartment complex owner. The surety bond helps them not as much as it helps you. You put $50 down and you never have to worry about it, right? $200 or $50 down, depending on the surety bond. And it covers your apartment, your rent. We could go in more detail, but I always want you guys to CYA, consult your attorney, consult your accountant, also consult your insurance agent. Rental insurance, on the same token, in Texas, they make you have to have a minimum $50,000. It's very popular to sell $100,000. So a lot of insurance agents in Texas make money because everybody, when they move to a new apartment, has to get a new insurance policy. So even if you're a new agent, let's say you have a lot of friends who live in apartments, if you can get all 100 of your friends getting policies, as an insurance agent, from you, $14 a month or $100, $150 up front, it's a pretty good live. It's pretty good living. So why is that important? The apartment insurance, a lot of people are saying, well, they're not going to give it to us because of flood. Many insurance agents are telling people, yes, during Hurricane Katrina and other incidents, you had to sue. Sometimes you sued. But to me, giving up $50,000 to $100,000 in coverage, it's worth getting a lawyer for $1,000 and getting my money, right? Because that's $50,000 to $100,000 I can go start a new life with. So yes, Houston seems messy at the moment. Yes, some people are going to give up, but I strongly encourage, if you had renter's insurance, to fight for it. Another form of that is supplemental insurance. Andre, please give us your story, or let us, if you'd like to share with us about your insurance story.
Yeah, sure. So I was in a car accident last year, and by car accident, I mean I was run the hell over by a truck. Some kind of crazy freak accident. Luckily, me and the person I was with, we survived, but major damage. Like I literally just started to feel a little bit better now, a year later. So I'm probably never going to be 100% the same. So I had to accept that. So the time when the accident was happening, after the accident was happening, I was focused on protecting the person who I was with, and luckily she had minimal damages. So, but after that, I was okay. She's okay. I was like, I said to myself, thank God I have life insurance. I said, thank God I have life insurance, because my family members are going to need me to retire. So they need me to retire. I'm built into the retirement plan, which I have companies that are going to help fund it. We'll talk about at a later video. So I was like, wow. So if I would have died here and I didn't have life insurance, I might have some people who my family who won't be working till 80, which isn't cool. If they have to work having to work till 80, right? Having the peace of mind that I spent what, $100 and something a month on, knowing that it will help my family's help my family have an easier retirement upon my demise, or help my nieces and nephews build something and expand off of something that which they want or what I have already created. It just gives you a really good peace of mind, a really good peace of mind. But at the time of the accident, what I didn't have was disability insurance, which I have now. So with disability insurance, the thing is, when you get injured, when you're self-employed, it's harder to get people to pay you because, oh, well, you don't work here, so you paid every 2 weeks. And it's like getting hurt on a job. But disability insurance helps supplement your income as well. So now I have life insurance and disability insurance. So because injuries can happen, accidents can run a truck. Who would have thought that? A friggin' truck, Erica. So I made sure that I was coveraged and that I'm over coverage just in case, because I would rather have the peace of mind of knowing that I'm okay if I have a small or minor injury and still able to be alive, and if I have a major one, I'm not here anymore, that my family will be better off.
Oh yeah, this is serious stuff. There's a reason Aflac has all these commercials of people with the cast on. Sometimes people get in car accidents, they think I'm fine. 2 weeks later, my neck, my back, I really can't work. I can't drive to work. So there's a reason these commercials exist. There's a reason. I give you guys a story time about the football player who played in the playoffs, like the bowls, the national bowls they have, and his family took out insurance. If he gets injured in this bowl, and this affects his NFL ability draft, they get paid, right? So they have this really, convoluted contract. But long story short, he breaks his leg in the bowl. And during the NFL draft, he went down, down, down. So finally, he was like a 7th round pick. So the insurance company had to pay him $500,000. So imagine you broke your leg. It's your dream to go in the NFL. You're recovering. And I think wouldn't you recover much better with $500,000 at your house in a check?
Mm-hmm.
So, I stress this insurance can work all kind of ways that you could never dream of, right? So before we leave insurance, I see, I don't know how to say your name. He's calling from California, but I see it. He said if they once gave you flood insurance money from previous floods, you didn't use it for that purpose, they won't give it to you again. So here's the thing about the insurance issues in Texas. A lot of people didn't have flood insurance. Houston is so let's make it very clear. I've showed you guys the map before. It's not just Houston. It is almost 30 to 50 counties that are affected, and that part of the state has 11 million people. They basically have the bulk of Texans living in that area. Also, they have the bulk of African Americans, Latino Americans living in that area. So it's very important for people to fight for that insurance money, even if it means going to court. Because a lot of times it showed as soon as you step foot in court, the insurance company said, whoa, 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 okay, here you go. Here's a check. Can we cut you a check for half? Take it and go. And so there's a lot of people who, I promise you, got apartment insurance. Their apartment is still flooded right now. And they're saying, well, you don't have flood insurance, but it doesn't matter. The insurance plus the documentation shows that rental insurance in Texas, it covers everything, all your items in the apartment. And people don't think their items in their house is a lot. Try to go back and rebuild your life with 10 grand. And you buy all your clothes, all your kitchen supplies, all your pots, your pans, your TVs, your everything with 10 grand. No. So the average policy is 50,000 and 100,000. So, hey, Aaron Johnson. Hey, Alvin. Nice to see you guys today.
Hey,
Aaron. Number 3, investments. So I'm always stressing, no matter the situation, before and after hurricane, you should be able to be putting away $25 a week. Now, people are going to say, Erica, what about the people after the hurricane? Listen, there will be lots of opportunities for work, lots of opportunities for not only FEMA checks, insurance checks, money coming to you temporarily, even if it's for 6 months. You should be taking this money and putting it somewhere so that you can have a future, right? You know, like the average American doesn't have, and when we say average on this channel, I mean 80%. Every survey shows about 80% of Americans do not have $1,000, Dre. In case of where they will have to start, their comment on the survey was, I'd have to start selling things in my home. So imagine your car, you get in a car accident, your deductible is $1,000, they can't get your car turned on. What are you going to do? What can you do?
So here's the thing is when we talk about this number, and people can give us feedback, like literally type in if this isn't you. This isn't a shaming place, by the way. This is a strongly encouraged to enhance our quality of life place. So just keep that in mind. If this is you, then why is this you? For me, there have been times in my life where I have been broke. Now I don't mind saying when I gross like 140, 120, 140 over the past 18 months or so. So now, like, that's the most I've ever made in my life. So there are times where I didn't have $500 or $1,000. And if I was really, really honest with myself, times when I've had 10,000 liquid saved up and the times where I've had no money or $100 saved up, it was lack of priorities and lack of discipline and lack of focus. Those are the reasons why I did not have at least $1,000 in reserves, liquid savings, checking account reserves, or leave my bed at all times. When I tracked my spending, when I wrote down what I've made and what I've earned, I've always had substantial savings. Always, from 19 to 35. When I didn't do those things, it might have been hit or miss. So I want to know from you, are you tracking your spending? What did you buy? What are you buying? It's less about what we're making. It's what are we spending with what we have? I know people who make 40 to 60,000 a year who always have money. Like, I don't know how, but they always do. I know people who make 250 who are always broke. It's usually a mentality thing and a lack of discipline thing. So I want to hear from you guys. Are you tracking your spending? Are you too proud to save 50 cents or $2 or $3? I was talking to a sister. She said, yeah, I'm a horrible saver. I said, are you writing down what you spend your money on? Are you putting quarters in bottles? I have a bottle here with change. Are you putting quarters in bottles in random dollar bills every 2 or 3 days? She said, no. She said, because her words, it doesn't add up fast enough.
It's the flip mentality.
Okay. It's the I need this sucker right here mentality. $2, but $2 a day is how much a month?
That's 60 a month.
60 a month, 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, 36. So you're out like 700 or so a year with $2 a day.
And again, even in change, yeah.
Even in change is money, pennies count. So type it in. What are you doing? If you aren't there yet, again, this isn't a shame thing. Let's have dialogue here.
I don't know how to say his name, but he says, yes, he's tracking penny saving. That's also why on this channel, I'm such a big advocate for the Digit app and the Acorn app. Mm-hmm. If you don't have to think, if you don't have to use willpower daily, because let's be honest, there's some people, they'll be like, I want some lunch and I don't care. I don't want to write it down, Dre. I mean, I've seen people go in the gas station, just grab stuff off the shelves, go to the counter, pay for gas, and keep on going. Mm-hmm. And now what happens when you start using a debit card, surveys show 40% of people spend more. Like if you ask them, hey, what'd you spend today? Oh, I spent this much. And then they pull out their bank statement. No, you didn't. You spent this much. So if you're going to use your debit card, I'd like you to use automation, because automation, Acorn app's just going to take your S exchange and put it away. Now, there's been a lot of people in the middle Facebook groups I'm in showing I've saved $400 just in the excess change on Acorn. That's how much they're swiping their debit card a month, Dre. They're swiping it every day when they go eat lunch. They're swiping it when they get gas. They're swiping it when they go to the grocery store. They're just swiping that card and not keeping track, right? But that Acorn app takes that excess change, and you can decide what best.
Automate it. If you're one of the people who says I'm not a good saver, so here's what you're doing when you say that. By the way, what you're saying is you aren't good. You aren't a disciplined saver. So let's use the D word, discipline. You aren't a disciplined saver, or you might not be a disciplined person in general. I don't know you. First time meeting some of you guys, and hey, by the way, so be honest about your shortcomings. Be like brutally hardcore honest about your shortcomings. These apps are friggin' magic for people who are in those predicaments. If that is you, these apps can totally change around your life. Automate $5 a week, $10 a week. You know you get paid XYZ day. If you're a full-time employee, most likely you get paid the same day every 2 weeks or so, or same dates. Have the money come out, go into the Acorn account automatically, and you have your round change, and you have your change get rounded up. Dude, a year, 18 months, man, like that's your down payment for a house. If you get a home buyer's grant, which we teach you about it at the Black Real Estate School, maybe even that with the grant, which what you save, maybe that's your down payment in 3 to 6 months. But start the process. It is never too little. You can never save that's too little. It will always add up.
Oh, for sure. I mean, one of my clients looked up and saved $800, and her husband wasn't even bought on the plan. Only she did the Digit app on her phone. So it madly took out. It kind of sees how you spend every day, and then kind of adjusts down to a low 10% and pulls out. And you can adjust it. You can just say, hey, I'm gonna put $5 away. And then some days when it sees you got like maybe your direct deposit, it'll pull out a 20, or it'll adjust and put a little bit more money away. And so she looked up, she had $800 straight. How many people who are, and she's a high income, she has a high income. If you're making $8,000 a month and you guys are like to eat out, like to go spend, like to do what you want, would you put away $800 in a lump sum?
Would I personally do it?
Yeah, like, on average, if I asked you guys in the question, which I see some of you guys are responding, I'll say, if you guys are a nurse and you make $8,000 a month, is it on the top of your head as soon as you get your direct deposit, would you just pull out $800 and put it away?
Most people wouldn't.
Yeah, most people would not. They'd be like, I might need that money.
Most, like 96% of people won't do that.
They'd be like, so here's this nurse that is swiping away. She eats her lunches with her friends. She goes, her and her husband and just her alone, when we put her on the Digit app, she saved $800. Now her husband's doing it, so we're gonna see how big it gets this next month. But they're really great clients. But that just shows you when you start making higher incomes, sometimes you have lifestyle creep. Yep. Your lifestyle has crept up, and you're just you want to save money, you want to put money away if you and your husband are high income earners, but it just doesn't happen sometimes. So,
and here's the thing about those clients is they knew that they needed to increase their life, so they hired you as consultant, coach, whatever title you want to use, mentor. They knew they needed help, and they sought help in you to help them change around their paradigm. How many people on the call are going to seek private help outside of YouTube? Hey, look, if free stuff is working for you, rock out with the free stuff. But the psychological effect when you're paying for something for someone to help discipline you, the success rate goes up tremendously. So keep that stuff in mind, guys.
So some of the comments have been hard to save. Aaron Johnson says, I have recently started tracking everything I spend, from assigning my dollars when I receive my paychecks. Listen, Dan Ramsey used to say, tell every dollar where it would go, or dollars will go wherever they want.
Wherever they want.
Yeah. Southern California says Houston will be gentrified after the hurricane damage is repaired. That's a tough one because Houston's just known for being more Asian, more Middle Eastern, more Black. I mean, the city's joke is we don't care what color you are. All we care about is green. And for a while, I used to think that's crazy. But the average person in Houston, a lot of the minorities you see and immigrants you see are actual business owners. And the people that live on these sides of towns that we're talking about, and those apartments, because it's affecting 30 to 50 counties, are 9 times out of 10, Black, Latino, whoever, right?
30 to 50 counties, you said?
30 to 50 counties, yeah. I'm going to share my screen again, Dre. I'm going to see if I can pull the map up for you guys that I did last time that I showed it. I might be able to. We'll see if the computer will let me do it. But I'll pull it up and show you the map again because people just people assume, oh, it's just Houston, but like it's a big part. And there's a place called Beaumont, Texas, that's absolutely flooded right now. It's near the levees. It is like an 80% black town. So that one is bad. Rockport is like 90% white, but they're completely flattened. So this is just more than one space. Okay. A guy whose initials I cannot spell says, it's very hard to stop using my card. I will start. Aaron Johnson said, I took all my cards out of my wallet and just bring a certain amount of cash with me daily to spend.
Perfect. Genius right there. Genius. And people say it's hard. Like, give some action sentences. So I spend this because XYZ, or I feel I need to spend this because of XYZ. A lot of people, our spending habits, our poor spending habits result in something else that we're not getting out of life. Some people spend more because they're single and they're lonely. Some people had a bad breakup and they cope with the breakup by spending. Some people don't. Some people like it's just fun. It's just fun. So what is your thing? What is your thing why you say, okay, saving is hard, spending is easy? What is it? What are the trigger things that go on in your brain when these things happen?
And I'll give an example sentence. One of my clients says, you know, it's just me. If I get home late, instead of cooking, I'd rather just buy my dinner. So
okay.
that's an
fair.
example. So, you know, give us some examples like that.
That's very fair. That's very fair. So let's just say that cooking at home isn't going to be something that you're going to cut out. You've accepted the fact that you're just going to eat out. Now, where are you going to cut the other fat from? Because it has to come from somewhere. Where's the other fat going to get cut from? And something everybody can do right now, call your credit card companies, call your bank, your financial institutions, ask them to waive the monthly and or annual fee. Ask them to waive the monthly and or annual fee, automatic savings, and whatever they save, put that money in your savings account or one of the app saving systems that Erica talks about. You can do that today. Do it before we hang up. Go now. I'll be here with Erica. Go call them, say, hey, can you waive the fee as a courtesy, the monthly fee or the yearly fee, and automatically put that money somewhere. I'll wait.
One guy has, I love burritos. One guy, Black Knight Coding, says, I split my check and auto take out 20% and put it in a separate bank account and let it stack. Automation.
Whatever works.
Another one says, why save if you can't buy a house? I got money but need a co-signer.
Why save if you can't buy a house? You save so you. How old are you?
How old
are you?
A
man or a woman?
I'm thinking this is a man. They have unique figure. You guys, if you have a unique name or name that you'd like to be called. I know he's from California, but
give us a nickname.
Also, Sean Williams says, taking the cards out of my wallet is a great idea. Let's see.
Get rid of those scraps. So.
It's a woman. She says, no hubby.
So.
Is it California? Is it just the location you're at? That's the houses are expensive or what? Because you can honestly just save for retirement.
And you don't want to be a broke person. Let's just get raw. Like, you don't want to be a person who has no savings. You don't want to be that person. That's not a good look in general. So that's the reason to save is to say, okay, even to yourself, yes, I have at least a few $1,000s in savings. It's just good for the self-esteem. But and you can buy a house. You can buy a house. It might not be in California or your part of California. So some people rent where they live, and they own where other people live. So you might rent where you live, but you might own where other people live, and that might be your tool to building wealth. So that's the reason. And if you needed a co-signer, get a co-signer. Like that's cool too. But just from the message, it sounds like you're frustrated, and it sounds like you might need to chat with somebody to help pull you out of something, which I could be totally wrong about that, and I could be totally off. If I am, I apologize. But if that's the case, let's pull you out. Let's get a game plan that works for you. Not everyone's game plan is the same. Some of us have different game plans. Your game plan might be to rent where you live and to own where other people live. If that's the thing, let's get a plan in order.
Said no hubby. Name is Naya, Naya. So I might be saying that
Okay.
wrong. And expensive. That's was her name. But you know, Dre, that's a part of that. If you're just putting the money away, it's actually just puts you in a better position to win, because you could look up in 5 years and have thousands of dollars, and if there's an emergency or a trip you want to go on, you have the opportunity. I actually have the map finally pulled up. Let me share my screen so you can see it. Dre, let me know if you can see it.
Will do.
All right. All right. So
Yep.
everybody, so this is the screen we have up. This is give you an example of 46 of the population of Texas lives right here. So everything on the west is empty. Everything up north is mostly empty. It's very, very empty. It's very, very, very empty. So a majority of these the stuff you see colored has been affected by the storm. So along those lines of the further you go to the right towards Louisiana, these are people who left Hurricane Katrina and live over here because it was cheap. It's a nice place to live.
That's the really
Yeah, and so some of them are saying, and here's the thing, Hurricane Katrina happened 12 years ago. So I put a comment on my page, if you haven't improved your life in 10 years, when do we start holding you accountable? Now, yes, the Katrina was horrific. It was traumatic. You know, people needed counseling. But in 10 years, over the course of 10 years, even if you just saved $100 a month, in 10 years, you would have had some income put away, a couple thousands of dollars put away, and that couple of $1,000s you could have tapped into and left these regions. Now, I do believe what the mayor did in Houston was outright. If you guys know anything about the roads there, it's crazy. Naya is actually going to Nevada. That was her response, Dre. So Nevada is actually very affordable. A lot of Californian folks are going to Nevada to buy homes. It's a good spot. It's a good lookout. But so just seeing this map right here, imagine all the people who don't have flood insurance, and they, you know, the insurance companies may fight them, but they'll win because all they have to do is go to court or say, hey, I've got a lawyer. And there's going to be a lot of lawyers who've already said they'll pro bono take a lot of this work. So there's going to be a lot of people getting paid. But if I give you $50,000 to renew your life, create your life over, what are you going to do with it? Yeah. And I've been telling a lot of people, I think people are going to literally take the money, Dre. I've seen it before in other storms because I'm from North Carolina, and move across town. Get a different house, move across town, get new cars because the car's flooded, and rebuild life. I've seen it a lot.
So that's so here's the thing. So if I hope you aren't part of the flooding. I hope you weren't part of the. I hope you aren't flooded out. But if you are, let's plan ahead for the money. And all people do it in general is to plan ahead with what you're going to do with the money that you don't even have yet. So let's say that you are part of it. FEMA is going to send you a check. Your landlord or your insurance policy will send you a renter's in check. What are you going to do with the money? Plan it, like literally plan out the money that you're waiting on, whether from a hurricane or life or lotto or whatever your thing is, your business. How are you going to spend it? What are you going to do with it? Erica, did we lose you?